Good evening, 9:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and this is very important. I wanted to read this. This just came out not too long ago, April 26, 2022, 10:03 whatever the hell CET time is. This is critical. You'll see this also on my ISO headquarters station, which the link is in the video description below. We just went over 800 subscribers, but I want to read this to you. And I'm only going to put the ISO 20022 part into my ISO headquarters station. But I thought this was a very important thing for everybody to see on this station. My whole XRP Future Millionaire audience must understand what's going on with the ISO. So stay tuned, pay attention. But first, hit that motherfucking like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new or returning. We're less than 200 subscribers from 10,000. And at 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, we get the merchandise store, and I know a lot of you want the merchandise. I won't do it until I get the YouTube store, and I've been dead set on that, and we're only less than 200 subscribers away, so I want to thank each and every one of you. So, the ISO 20022 drive, so on the ISO headquarters channel, this is a common theme, so the ISO headquarters, so ISO 20022 drive goes beyond the deadlines. So on Tuesday, April 26, 2022 at 10:03 CET time, this came out. The paper sat down with Colin Wood and Charles D. Rouge from Bottom Line to find out more about the benefits coming with ISO 20022, the November 2022 deadline for SWIFT integration and more. At this point in its development, ISO 20022 has become an interesting triangle of issues. Point number one is the undeniable advantages of the format and its potential for adding essential data to every digital payment interaction. At point two, we have the looming November 2022 deadline for incorporating the format into the global SWIFT CBPR Plus platform, as well as market infrastructure such as CHAPS Target 2, TIPS/RT1, MEPS Plus, SIC, and FedWire. However, point three is arguably the most important. It's here that ISO is flexing its muscle into new use cases and functionalities. To explore all 3 points, we engaged Bottom Line executives Charles D. Rouge, head of SaaS Solutions, and Colin Wood, senior fraud analyst for financial crime and questions and answers. And everybody part of the ISO headquarters, if you haven't followed that station or followed while watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button to that station and go check out my ISO headquarters. It's in my video description below, because the more than 800 people subscribe to the channel get such an advantage by understanding this. We've talked about all these people and all these components, so we're all familiar. So make sure you're keeping updated with all my content on YouTube. I have 3 different stations. So Colin Wood, CW, if you're trying to identify financial crimes and prevent them, it makes it so much harder when you have inconsistent, unformatted data attached to a transaction. Let's say you have a suspicious payment from a questionable source, and all you have is the name and country of residence. That's hard to work with, but the global adoption of ISO 20022, we're getting more rich data coming through the expanded data field. You've got a name, you've got an address, you've got a city, you've got a country, and you know what the transaction is being used for. So if I'm going to screen the name or entity behind that purchase, then I could certainly go to the various security databases like the U.S. Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, but in a world of real-time and always-on, that is not always practical. As a result, I am helped immensely by the information in the new ISO 20022 message. It's going to make my sanction screening more efficient, therefore I am helped immensely by the information in ISO. Interesting, seems like it's one of the use cases for ISO that goes beyond the standard advantages of richer payment data. Charles, what's your take on how ISO 20022 is being perceived in the market? Should be later focus on the November 2022 deadline. Charles D. Roos, CDR, yes, we should, but we also need to understand that is the beginning of the process, not an event. Rather than seeing November as a mandatory period of regulation, see it as a new era of opportunities. The first step is achieving SWIFT connectivity and the ability of receiving messages through the Interact Gateway. Most of the banks are incorporating this first step, which is what we call ISO connectivity phase. After that, there's a variety of planning depending on your risk appetite, the size of your market, and your willingness to move from connected to ISO native. Normally, this native status comes with the transformation to ISO, the enrichment of the data, and then the end goal will be embracing the revolution of new payments and new payment rails and new regulations. Charles, you mentioned data. Colin, is there a premium on having good data policies and good data quality if ISO will automate the process? CW, Technology will help a lot, yes, but there will be other data challenges that will take time and good partnership to fix, and I'm sure the structure of ISO 20022 on the international payment message side will evolve during the next year. Therefore, the way you maintain your data, the way you update it, the way you manage it, all of that is becoming a big part of what makes your payment processing and screening much more efficient and accurate. Not all the banks have the tools to manage all the additional data that comes with ISO 20022 in the beginning. This data will be mainly on the central platform because a lot of the banks will have a hybrid legacy digital infrastructure. Without the right data, we have a lot of empty boxes with the ISO format. Partnering with fintech banks will be able to send, receive, and screen the new enriched messages. But on the core system, until that migration has taken place, we'll still have the good old empty box, which is unfortunately light on information, and will continue to pose challenges to better STP rates and effective sanction screenings. Charles, do you see banks as data challenged? CDR, yes. While data quality will be a big challenge, as I said, solving it is not going to happen in one day. Our mantra on data as well as the ISO migration is connect, comply, compete. It starts with that initial connection to the SWIFT gateway. That's where you start to control the information from the transaction. It will require the right tools and right partner if you use a SaaS platform and API connectivity. Rather than complicating the payments and the data, you can have one centralized point of connectivity. The old days of paying millions and millions to an on-site payment hub with layers and layers of legacy infrastructure are long gone. This is never going to happen again. The future is SaaS in the cloud and the ability to connect and ultimately comply with the regulation. But then once you have those things, you can start adding new functionalities and new features varying from sanction screening to fraud protection utilizing machine learning, but also with new real-time payment rails. So I wanted to finish this. Colin, hey, Bob, would you like to read this? Well, Tom, I thought you would never ask. It seems like the industry and the companies and it have a good job of communicating the basic benefits of ISO 20022. Now, Tom, Bob, just read it. How do we communicate the additional benefits that we've discussed? Bob, good question. By connecting the benefits with business outcomes, I'm quite certain that there are some compliance people out there that think anything that happening with ISO 20022 is the hottest payment issue of the moment. However, I think what they probably haven't grasped yet is the effect it will have on their entire internal ecosystem. Operations and treasury will be pleased as it will reduce their workload because if they have the data right and the compliance filter is set properly, risk scoring will be lower. This means fewer false positive hits and lowers the chance of missing a cutoff time for a payment mechanism. The other side of the coin is that it's also less work for the compliance people, as having better quality data means they will have more efficient and accurate sanction screening. However, screening means that when a match needs reviewing, it's obviously a higher risk and needs their analysis to make a decision. Ultimately, it's going to improve efficiency from an operation and compliance perspective. So that was fascinating and very, very good information. I hope you guys enjoyed that, because you're not going to get that anywhere else. Good evening. Welcome back, everybody. I want to go to the charts real quick. I know we were just reading a lot. I know I got music in the background, but I felt like music, so you're going to have to deal with it. Get bored talking sometimes with nothing in the background, so I'm sure you guys can understand. So it's going to be very quick. I got to put my son to bed. Okay, so XRP real quick. We fell below the ascending triangle, but it looks like we could be starting a W reversal. Now the question is this is XLM. The question is, can we get to 18.9 or break 19 cents and be able to push back into the ascending triangle? That's the question we're going to be asking until this pattern plays out here a little bit more. Right now the volume doesn't look great. Can we get some volume in and push out in the 4-hourly? I don't know. 30-minute, you can see we're trying to push up, but it's very, very low volume, and that is not a great sign. Maybe 18.87 we could see on the table, but it's going to be very hard to even get there. Right now, we got to get by with XRP, the 20-day right here, and this is the key formation here. So if you've been paying attention all day, you'll understand that this is a spot where we have to hit, no excuses. I know everybody on YouTube's a bunch of freaking morons, but excuse my, not morons, but just, they just can't seem to get it right. So 65 cents. If we can't break that, we'll come back down here and we'll see if 62 cents can hold. If not, we'll go to 58, 56, and then 52, and then maybe worse. If we can break 65, we obviously come back here and back test the broken ascending triangle. in this pattern that we're in right now, the area, it's in between two patterns. So it can only end up in this area if you fall between both patterns, which is both relevant. And now we end up in this area, and it's absolutely spectacular the way my charts are drawn out, because these have been here for a long time, and it plays off each and every area. They're here for a reason, and I'm the best in the business. And I don't bullshit it. Somebody wants to argue it, they're wrong. It's that simple. So if you think the market's doing anything other than what I say, awesome. DGB broke outside of its ascending triangle, and now we're looking to back test DGB right here. And if we back test this and fail, if we come back up here, it would have been 2417. But look, we back tested, failed, and I said I didn't think this line was going to hold, but I drew it here so everybody knew where the double bottom was. Failed, came right through it, and now in the 15-minute, we're coming up and back testing it. If we fail here and get rejected, we're coming down and coming down hard. If we can get past here somehow, some way, and find a little bit of volume, we could always come back up right now and come up to 2333. That's about all I can see out of this. But right now, I don't see any volume, and crypto looks like ass. Stay blessed, everybody. Hashtag be better, do better. Consider joining Tom's Army. Join the most exclusive and elusive community on YouTube, period. Hands down. Talk to me every single day. We just got done with a class today, and guess what? You're either with me or against me.